bono sense them ni bebre ba sami agrada ansemi manka bi sami grada manka bi code of ethics bi manka bi ana yesi menua e plus so ebe ke kan niam bi kwame de to dansem hunu ke kan wo na wo ya no hwe nyaye na nyankopon so uche nua ne ade anu ache menua ni nua agene ne nye abebebom ana aben na bom ni ase kwa wo sheda nso chesa asmo hinti hey edek na yese kwa bo a plus na Ghana for ntie na fi ya yentete sa ene miss education
me ante ade bi ase matete se nkrofo se Mahama person of Chief Justice se na be ya obekọ for a third term me pa cho sa de ye de mra na ye de
and look they say government communication minister for communication honorable Felix Kwachofo so they better just no kribiasa
onokra wan kan ye Kwachofo so wan kan ye
adena guess what can I say
John Mahama betumi esiki for billion terms eyemra Ghana constitution e wo de media ye nyina betumi constitution no ye say wo pese wo sesa bibi wo mu afa ko ha emra na ye troye no ye say justice soa to forwards attorney general ne judgment no otro wo mu say constitution no enye just text to say ne da he then you are why you
me dem say honorable kan wasem me
first year I say a living organism capable of growth into no constitution no it will say any and you say attract one and one no so if the president thinks that the term limit no emwa Ghana obey to meet the constitution now call parliament say parliament me feel say Ghana no I will say a term limit free so udi 100 terms kwana nkofo so mpewa also what transnational development eyamra eda ho enye John Mahama de share samra no
but for now dear
no John Mahama on meka sasa ba me pese ade no ko obi atrim se nya ye dede se John Mahama petete omu ya lawyer for omu nim nyamra ne ka emra ne se John Mahama feel so pese o tena so biemu a on famra parliament obo ba beto yen wo ho yen ne ye behwe ade no aka se okay emra no ampa ya change mra na yen se wudi
yifrim na yifrim ne ya kwame plus o kan nyina mu ne amoya we obi yen kan sisu biase the minimum plus kind. Yes, it is true, sir. Constitution of Ghana. Cool. Now, then, if article 1-2, that is supremacy of the Constitution. Who read the Constitution of the Republic? Or say this Constitution shall be the supreme law of Ghana, and any other law found to be inconsistent shall, to the extent of its inconsistency, be void. That is the article 1-2. Or say this is the supreme law of Ghana. So, Samrana must conform with the provisions of this Constitution. If any constitution, say no constitution if to the extent of any it shall be void. Again, offer constitution, and I'm saying you free baby nearby. Na yedi ye history so dani project say me won say Kwame Ekoti justice soa ne famous quote o make here in the case of a year 24 versus attorney general o make quote famra or say a written constitution such as ours is not an ordinary act of parliament. Dani position here, let me read my Ghana for position here. Or say a written constitution such as ours is not an ordinary act of parliament. It embodies the will of the people. It also mirrors their history. So the constitution it mirrors the history of this country. History is saying Nkrumah declared who a president for life. It declared Ghana one party state. And on the Namsuma Ku near the so the constitution trying to solve that issue. And Womudia Shem said, you shall have a term of presidency 4 years for 2 terms. And the Kwame Plus Sabekase, John Mahama betime the Maraba, near ya pass it, no it means you are not taking into account the history of this nation. When Kwame Nkrumah declared one party state and president for life. So John Mahama, yes sir, constitution is not looking at him. It's you. It also mirrors the history account. Therefore needs to be taken of it as a landmark in the people's search for progress. So we for your history, your constitution here. You need to look at the constitution as a landmark. Say Emma your direction for the progress. And baby you free bano. Yes, say be Jimmy Fona so free baby but osako ho abra woku. Eti edua anansidi wu ye no. Enti kuma ntenase ntonko. So Kwame Plus beka say your mama betimi a edete mra no. You obe amende mra. Na watena so a. Ye free baby ne ba ye hunu bi pen. And justice so ayi ne bra. Fire. Now we you know it contains within it their aspirations and their hopes for the better and fuller life. So constitution way it is not just a constitution. It contains the people's aspiration for better life. Now what was the framers of the constitution omunim baby aye free ba say yenya 1960 constitution 1969 constitution 79 constitution 1992 and yamani bebre wo ho a we've amended them precisely ya yen sakraye wo mu etu fa article 21 a eduru baby Kwame Nkrumah fa eye ria koto that is ba force ayi ba for akoto ne eye Jebidan Kwane ade mu koto mu no na ye ni bibia under the constitution a multimede ayi obi court for actor a breaching a part of the constitution. It's Yababedu in the article 21. Says a nei obia yamra, obia bibi, na say a breaching any part of the constitution. Obetimi ako under article 21 and 130 of the constitution, which gives power to the Supreme Court. So obe make a declaration to that effect. So first of all, and then the constitution ma ho kwan ma timi ko ekoko sikise o e bia mama ye bibi na ye unconstitutional. Now framers of the constitution Kwame omo pese omo so be mischief of o chena obi nsore enya de wo Kwame Plus oye no ye fra bibi eye basic structure doctrine. The doctrine of basic structure. Exactly. Because Justice Sowa say the constitution contains the history of the people, you know. Say even obey amend the constitution and you be bia na betimi amend it because of the basic structure. Now that basic structure doctrine there is a case in you can say 1973 in India. Your friend Kasan Navadando said there versus state of Bharati. Now omo basic structure almost say constitutional certain part of the constitution you cannot touch it because the spine the bone of the constitution it's that means you've overthrown the constitution to come in with another one. So the basic structure there is a case of David Indi versus Attorney General in Kenya. Tell Kenya 4 years on constitution constitution. The Kenyan Supreme Court declares so because of the basic structure doctrine you cannot touch certain provisions in the constitution. Now your framers of the constitution among person watching a benya se bobia na adwene nye no say a majority in parliament it's one of wo ye ni ade no Yanko Article 66. Now Yanko Hedie Eka. Now Article 66 of the Constitution and what chapter 8 of the Constitution. Chapter 8 in the head and the executive. So anything that is said under chapter 8, now Article 66 to a person shall not be elected to hold office of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Back Article 66(1). 66(1) when you read here. Then 66(1). So and I'm saying the framers or say a person elected as president shall, subject to clause 1 of this article, hold office for a term of 4 years, beginning from the date on which he is sworn in as president. So Article 66(1) say you to abamount say be president. Obetimi aye president for just 4 years, which is a term. Oko 66(2). You read 66(2). 66(2) say you can only be a president for Saya to Obama 4 years and only 2 terms. So 66(2) say a person shall not be elected to hold office as president of Ghana for more than 2 terms. Edientia Yempe Kwame Nkrumah when declare no state you can say president for life. It's watching Kwame Plus say your mama betime de yina banu declare no say there be Yempe sa your history into Yempe biokrache. You free baby nearby. You pay no money shame no. Now omudi shame we no. And omo ho se betimi anya bodam ni bi oba be president. No watching us make declare me home president for life. It's constitution omo chemu mienu. your friend be entrenched provisions and then non-entrenched provisions. Entrenched provisions in here day. Or say yes, almost a parliament under Article 290. What the amendment powers of a year the Supreme so bet me amended. And some person more amended any part of the constitution. Or mon pass mra amended. It will for constitution the Kenya. Over here the 527th Act of Parliament of the Republic of Ghana entitled the Constitution. So a act and a passed constitution. And some amendment. It's OSHA Article 8. Article 8. First said they're not ready. It is no longer the same here. It's here the act way. And I amended Article 8. So baby was say Article 8 of Constitution is repealed and the following is inserted. It is a read Article 8. Also who say you repeal and you amended with this. Come and read this one. Okay. Now you need to Parliament will to me so to me amend. Nemo mu yemped ye kwam ye plus e kano. It's yanko Article 290. Nyanko hwade educates them. Entrenched provisions, non-entrenched. And a constitution is saying, they are non-entrenched now. And no, they what they call parliament. Parliament bet me amended. Precisely. They or the roadblocks be to home. Said the beya. Who person amended the entrenched provisions? Obebre. Chenio. So nye easy say kwa mbeka say. Your mama bet me the maraba parliament. They are amended. And you're correct. Anya no correct. Now Danny zoom in na menchiro Ghana for there. Zoom in. I say okay, so Danny what about clause 4? Let's go to clause 1. 290 clause 1. Let's go to 290 clause 1. Let's read the clause 1, clause 2, clause 3. Now 290 is going to show us the processes are open so amended entrenched provisions. And the constitution was entrenched provisions, you know. The whole of chapter 8. So OSHA Article 290 will say amendment of entrenched provisions. Now that Danny Fameko Article 1, good. Zoom in. Or say this article applies to amendments of the following provisions of the Constitution, which are in the Constitution. Okay, so then refer to as entrenched provisions. It's provisions here. Your friend of entrenched provisions. And no one to mean Tamu and Fanko Parliament. Now, Osha was say, hey. The Constitution, Article 1, 2, and 3. The entire person Article 1, 2, and 3 Gina ho. No obient me fan sanka anyhow. It's because Article 1 and a care about the supremacy of the Constitution. It's Yamakwam will be amended noa. That is obet me against Munumbia. Article 2.1 and also the Supreme Court the power to make declarations when obey the assembly. It's Yamakwam will more amended anyhow a best. Article 3. I think the territorial citizens or territorial. Let me go to Article 3. Now, already Article was say, Danny, don't zoom back. Now, or see the following. Okay, a clause 1F. Or see the executive. It's Danny for second page in the Tuso. Or see the executive, the whole chapter 8. So, me know because offer constitution. The whole chapter 8. Bibi account will be an entrenched provisions. The term limits of the president, who qualifies to be president, who can stand for president. Ninyina under chapter 8.
Exactly.
The presidential powers. So then be court to be fan court. Ninyina under chapter 8. And 290 say chapter 8 ninyina ye entrenched provisions.
Exactly.
It's yafe yan kwahwe kwan ye fa so. Amend this up as also entrenched provision. So it's not easy to Kwame Beka say, wait me the maraba and you better near pass it. Kwame Janse Munu, and himself said that this answer me. Also, you know the law. So you know your mama cannot wake up and say, maybe send me the to parliament. Now, Yansha, how or say if you want to amend a year entrenched provisions, Article 290 has provided. Or see the other kind. Says speaker no. Onya bo eba no kura so mpeso mo amende and mostly se mo be amende mra. E attorney general and the free executive ne ba. Na afi processes na koso. Eti article 106 actually the processes have be go through with a year wo person pass mra. Nemo me kodu entrenched provision. Or see even speaker no ye na adwene. Na obosu kim ba ko e wo parliament wa. as we refer Marano, or say a bill for an amendment of an entrenched provision shall before Parliament proceeds. It's before the Parliament, Ben Ageno Kwaso or Kwakwas Samarano. Or say before Parliament proceeds to consider it, before such as your mama no Ben Agis or Deba Parliament. Or say it shall be referred to the by the Speaker to the Council of State for its advice, and Council of State shall render a year advice. The bill. Okay, before the bill will be written, so before say Speaker Krabeno, as a Speaker refer a year bill no, yes, I didn't know person amend or entrench, you know. It's chapter 8, article 66. As a Speaker, the Council of State for now, Council of State for him. Now, young Danny connects near Council of State for him. We are at the end of Messiah. Or say Council of State for him. We are. Yes, or say the bill shall be published in the Gazette. You can't Gazette. Agobi say Uko Saudia. The publishing or Gazette. It's a Muya Madrid. Some article 66 now. Or say the bill shall be gazetted for 6 months. Or say shall not be introduced into Parliament until expiry of 6 months. I don't know yet the two or shedder. Constitution the roadblocks be two. Some woman in 6 months. Because you see a resident Nipanadia Woyano. Why can you pa? So until 6 months. Now say expire under clause 3 we are. Yanko ready a sakachero. Was it Saunya ye we are? Afe Kurano or say after the bill has been read the first time, after the Parliament Speaker, a boss 1, 2, 3 Kim. Or say after the bill has been read in Parliament, it shall not be proceeded with further. Or see ready ya parliamentarians and Mobia Fanasanka. Or say it shall be submitted to a referendum. You can't referendum. Mofamre Ghana phone. Mofamre Ghana phone. If some person Ghana phone will choose say empire percent your mama etna so that you knew but say it shall be subjected to a referendum now throughout the whole Ghana and your referendum ketua bi eti wo hwe eye na no na eye nuan mo wo vote ani ade ka say emere bi on beso omoti om ho nya ne eno om ayi plebiscite ye call referendum ye city regency bi akeka ho ye call referendum na no call referendum because eye regency nti the area na affect no ana wo mo no be toaba. But this one, it affects the whole country. So the Constitution is saying that you must subject it to a referendum. Precisely. Family man for now for young kind to us. Article 290, young kind to us. Also, they call referendum. 40% of all people eligible to vote. Omo to abe ye senka me no ka say you be 17 million people that to abe nyemwa Ghana. So 40% of 17 million people must turn out. It is a nipa be ba to aba no. Omo ndu 40% of 17 million or 15 million unya referendum no. Now already a clause 4 na 90 clause 4 no. Was it say nipa 40% be to 75% of the nkoforum be to aba no. Eso omo ka say and ye pese yes your mama transfer. Now your mama be 75%. More fire. Bisebio. More fire. More fire. It's okay clause 4. Or say and at least 40% of the persons entitled to vote voted at the referendum. And at least 75% of the persons who voted cast their votes in favor of the person. It's 40% of the people to come and vote. It's 75% of those people. Yes, and where you framers of the Constitution, called terms na fa hin ko si ye ni so ye ni so oni wo kwan amama okuo ni mo go bi right no Kwame Nkrumah no obema check your mama bibiri Kwame Nkrumah no obema check your mama bibiri ono call try say was subverting the will of the people omutu no more fire more fire what's some for no yi ni ade agobi when people feel oppressed at any given point they are left with no option than to rise up. Precisely so and why yes the people who feel frustrated when your mama memu papa ben go ba former yi ni ade ase ye kwasisa no akọ president go for class constitution and transfer na your mama enti mon konkoda or try so be subverting the will of the people we will go after him. And constitution, no, am I a coin said? Obia or tries to overthrow the constitution. We should use any means possible to reinstate the constitution. It is a job. Mama, you're not going to overthrow the constitution. We will use every overthrow. Yes, yes, we overthrow him. We overthrow him, and we will reinstate this constitution. So your mama, you're not going to amend the constitution. I'm from Marakwem. That's why you're not going to we will overthrow him. I'm telling you. No. And constitution, the man pay. So was this will be an argument to obey you. And yeah, you should any means necessary. One train, Adriana bet me a first ship and trim. Is Yama Quine. Now, young article train, young ready. No one got a free fan. I said that way. Okay, Article 3.4. All citizens of Ghana shall have the right and duty at all times to defend this constitution, and in particular to resist any person or group of persons seeking to commit any of the acts referred to in clause 3 of this article, and B, to do all in their power to restore this constitution after it has been suspended, overthrown, or abrogated, as referred to in clause 3 of this article. So constitution is said, so your mama you're not going to obey your constitution. We should overthrow him. You better use any means. Why? For be a member of what did Your Excellency, thank you very much. We shall see you another time. Bye bye. Also we are not going to see Nagana for you will be a young one answer. Miss Memo Ghana, yes, America. Ghana, yes, still I would do we and what they are doing. What per Vietnam? What do you eat a week? It's what I'm on that. One year Berman Chobia. Bobby, it's Mungancha Kwame Plus. Janko Semno do. We are honorable. So when you're the normal, we are honorable. Janko Sam Kwame, Janko Sam honorable. Honorable. Street honorable. Honestly, street in India. Why blood? The other man for not going to. It will be a send home. The one won't mean every. We are Yamanako. Why? On a Trump, you know, is that Trump? So they say, on a Trump, I was ya. It is saying, young queen, why? More fire. General, and John Boom, when we are. Thank you, Your Excellency. We shall meet again, Mr. President. And when you see and we'll try to best subvert the will of the people. We will resist the process, and we will stand on the constitution. You're very resistant. We say we made a country and governor. What do you mean? Higher Cote d'Ivoire. You can do it. I'm telling you. What do you mean? David. Also, what I am not to be. Oh, go me say. They say also what I want to see. Now we have a frozen as a woman. Or make sure the bench about 1 year. We almost see a young crew. Now when you lose the will of the people, and then check who good will you have code of conduct. Hey, once you had me on the Yanko code of conduct. Was it the code of
Assalamu alaikum. Memo bibi akobaba Grace Gift Hair Clinic and Laboratory Services. Grace Gift the semunimo aha haya nyako ponti adomi ene this hire. Your branches yemino. Baku Kumasi, Ohim School Junction, and Accra, New Achimota Petroleum, opposite Family Life School. Yare be brainy, yes, sir. Now the dim wakotine a yawo. So what they are waiting na unyan wedra. For initial Grace Gifts, I did you are with there. And as a stroke, so say bubu watwa, branamini tuntia. Grace Gifts your bar, and may fire so many high, a besaw yare. When you be brave, and yes, sir, a Grace Gift.
Fair diabetes, high blood pressure, hepatitis B, syphilis, gonorrhea. Any awudie mu yade awudo bebrebe to say fibroid, ovarian cyst, PID, any oligosthenia low sperm count. Obi biara what our conditions where any conditions awudo nyina no. Kwabeda Grace Gift Hair Clinic.
Say I know yarea. No need to say yes our Grace Gift Hair Clinic. Yarea yensa sebi eye jimie kwata beye anybody aye. Grace Gift Hair Clinic.
Home of quality healthcare.